Chapter 11, Hack 6, The Daily Grind. Okay, all you unfuckwithable, bitch-slapping, back-smacking, monkey-flinging folly controllers. Let's see if we can upgrade your daily grind to the point of tolerable. We've dealt directly and effectively with the shit show in your head and the shit-slingers in your life. Now let's hack your daily grind, the draining activities of your daily life, to further juice your flow of life force. Ready? Because you animate a physical body, basically lugging it around with you, most of your life is spent on maintenance. Your body needs food, sleep, a domicile, clothing, grooming, exercise, transportation, healthcare, and enough money to provide all this for you, your family, and your pets. Oddly, you're obliged to compete against others to get that money too. The basic maxim of life on Earth, eat or be eaten, still applies metaphorically to us in our capitalist society. You claw your way high enough up whatever pyramid you occupy in order to maintain your lifestyle. Whenever possible, you acquire and stockpile far more assets than you need to safeguard against every conceivable crisis that could knock you and yours off the pyramid. Take a few moments now to recall your activities over the last 48 hours. Ask yourself why you did each thing. How much of it was dedicated to maintenance in one form or another, either for yourself or your dependents? How many of your activities did you feel obligated to do, versus those you simply wanted to do? If you are depressed or anxious, it's a safe bet the scale tips heavily towards obligation. Chronic feelings of obligation exhaust life force. When you reduce your maintenance obligations, you bolster your life force. How can we do this? Our first step is to examine your wants versus your needs. Want versus need. Desire is a core aspect of being human. Our consciousness erupts with a continual stream of desires. If you doubt that, just sit motionless for a couple of minutes, and I guarantee you will want something. Be it food, drink, a trip to the bathroom, to check your smartphone, to talk to someone, to go back to bed, to shop online, to pleasure yourself, whatever. Perhaps desire is merely a tool the beast uses to torture us. But I believe it runs deeper than that. Beyond the basic drive to survive, most of us have an ingrained desire to improve, to be more, to do more, to have more. The continual frustration of this desire fuels depression and anxiety. In our society, this desire has been manipulated and warped beyond redemption, putting most of us on the treadmill of competition and materialistic acquisition that ultimately fails to satisfy. If you've been fortunate enough to acquire all the material crap you craved, designer clothes, luxury autos, McMansions, vacation homes, jewelry, art, you've probably already learned that nice things rarely deliver lasting happiness. Instead, you quickly get accustomed to them, take them for granted, and hunger for more. They also create more maintenance headaches. Likewise, embracing the rat race, getting straight A's in school, attending an Ivy League university, getting hired at a top investment fund or law firm, often leads to ennui and disillusionment after years or even decades of grinding it out day after day. Chasing success or money in a career you don't enjoy is a treadmill to despair. At the other end of the spectrum, lots of folks really just want to party and screw off, so they wander through each day in a disjointed fog until at some point they wake up long enough to realize their life prospects utterly suck. As the beast pounds them with regrets, they realize crass hedonism is no more fulfilling than the rat race. Obviously, I don't know your exact situation, but you probably have plenty of things you once wanted and now don't need. You're spending too much time on obligations and maintenance and not enough time on activities you truly enjoy. That's why you don't give a shit about tomorrow's sunrise. Is this true for you? Fortunately, we won't process your unfulfilled desires, broken dreams, wasted money, and lost years. We'll simply pare down the unnecessary maintenance shit in your daily grind, so you can fill your bucket of emotional energy by doing more things you enjoy. At least a little bit. Let's get hacking. The thumb test. Hack 6, the daily grind, is absurdly easy to remember and relatively easy to implement. You embrace activities that increase your life force and discard activities that diminish your life force. While simple in concept, Hack 6 can bring earth-shaking consequences. Odds are, you'll make significant changes to your daily grind. The techniques are simple, starting with the thumb test. To give you a framework you can deploy in real time, let's modify Eckhart Tolle's concept of awakened doing as presented in his bestseller, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. In Tolle's words, if you are not in the state of either acceptance, enjoyment, or enthusiasm, look closely, and you will find that you are creating suffering for yourself and others. Ideally, you are enthusiastic about whatever you're doing at the present moment. If not, maybe you can still enjoy it. No? Well, at a minimum, you accept it. Anything less depletes your life force. Hack 6, the daily grind, asks you to apply a similar but simpler filter to your daily activities, especially those you repeat over and over day after day. As you approach an activity, ask yourself how spending time on it will affect your life force. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral. Apply the thumb test to any particularly annoying task you do every week. Pick the worst one, a definite thumbs downer. Can you stop doing it? If not, can you barter or outsource to get someone else to do it? If not, can you reframe it into something more tolerable? Worst case, you might need the nuclear option. Let's start with an easy example. Suppose you spend nearly an hour grooming every morning to start your day. How do you feel today about doing this? What's your immediate reaction? Thumbs up or neutral? Go for it. Thumbs down? Do something different. Maybe you say, I really like the way I feel when I'm groomed, so it's worth the time. No problem. Go for greatness. On the other hand, perhaps you get the thumbs down, but the beast declares you look like hell without shaving or makeup. First, you bitch slap the beast. You then say, screw it, I don't care if I look like a zombie. I'm going grubby today. Thumbs up! You truncate your grooming routine and head out into the day with a little jolt of extra life force. Occasionally, the thumb test requires a little extra thought, though. For example, it's time to get ready for your daily workout. You're tired and start to give it a thumbs down. You think again and recall you typically feel better after the workout, and you'll reap the benefits of increased energy, fitting into your clothes, fewer health issues, etc. So, your thumb moves up to neutral, and you get on with the workout. The simple act of issuing a thumb rating before continuing preserves your life force. Barter and outsource. When you can't dump a thumbs down maintenance issue entirely, look for a way to barter or outsource it to someone else, such as a family member, friend, coworker, neighbor, or someone you hire on the internet. For example, imagine you've been making breakfast or dinner for your spouse and kids for years. They take your efforts for granted, no one offers to help, and this maintenance task is getting a big thumbs down. Regardless of what the beast or any of these shit-slingers have to say, you have to make a change. You might announce that, from now on, the family members will rotate daily responsibility for making and serving the meal. You'll be available to train and assist them for the next 30 days, after which they'll be on their own. If they don't participate, they don't eat. Sure, holy hell is liable to break loose, but your life force is bound to spike upward. If you're sick of housework, laundry, cooking, dog walking, yard work, organizing, shopping, whatever, find someone else to do it. Barter by offering to do something you like that they don't. Hire neighborhood kids for cheap. Sure, the results won't be as polished as when you do it, but who cares, really? Assuming you live long enough, you will ultimately outsource all your maintenance issues, including wiping your own butt. So you might as well start now. Think for a minute and decide how you can barter or outsource at least one thumbs down maintenance issue in your daily grind, and write about it on page 37 of your PDF workbook. List the unpleasant task, how you will outsource or barter it, and how you'll spend your new free time. Reframing. At times, your life situations are complicated or nuanced, and quitting, outsourcing, and bartering are lousy options. Imagine you have accepted a new job you really like, but the 90-minute commute each way in heavy traffic is more daunting than you expected. You can't move closer to work because you're locked into a long-term lease. Your wife works an hour away in the opposite direction, or your kids go to great schools. It's a rainy Monday morning, and your upcoming commute is a colossal thumbs down. The beast calls you moronic for accepting a job so far away. You need to reframe the situation. Reframing means assigning a different purpose or value to the activity, finding a way to make it neutral or better on the thumb meter. In the case of your shitty commute, you layer additional activities into the time. Get a car with dynamic cruise control and a great sound system. Use the time to learn a new language, listen to audiobooks or podcasts, or rideshare with interesting people who will debate current affairs or social media gossip. Plaster your car with advertising to earn extra money as you drive. Keep trying different ideas until you hit on something that reframes the activity and maintains or improves your life force. The ride might even transform into a thumbs-up endeavor. Sometimes reframing requires a big shift. I recall a story my mom recounted about living with her 2 toddler sons in an isolated apartment without a car, while my dad traveled a lot for business. She was going batshit crazy. One day, Dad returned from a trip to learn the family was moving. Mom had found an affordable townhouse in a new neighborhood teeming with other kids and their young mothers. She had reframed stay-at-home motherhood into something more tolerable and life force enhancing. No doubt you have at least one daunting thumbs-down situation that requires some serious reframing. You don't have to solve it all at once, but you do have to put yourself on a path to a better condition. Just knowing you're on that path will bolster your life force and grant you patience. Take a few minutes to test your reframing abilities on one of your enduring maintenance challenges and write about this issue and your reframing strategy on page 38 of your PDF workbook. The nuclear option. The nuclear option was inaccessible prior to Hack 6 because it requires a reservoir of life force you lacked until now. You had to cope effectively with the beast, the shit-slingers, the mayhem, and the folly before you could even consider blowing up your daily grind. Having mastered the first 5 hacks, you now can silence the beast and shit-slingers long enough to really examine your daily grind. Can you accept your current life circumstances and still achieve an emotional set point close to neutral? Can you control your folly and sustain your life force by dumping, outsourcing, and reframing most of the thumbs-down items in your daily grind? Are there really that many? Hopefully, the mental show in your head has become less of a shit show, and you realize your current situation is good enough for now. I believe this will be the case for most of us, because the beast and shit-slingers spawn most of our depression and anxiety. Once those nefarious forces are controlled, the remaining nuances of the daily grind usually comprise small potatoes. Nevertheless, we must discuss scenarios that call forth the nuclear option. The silencing of the beast and the steady increase in your life force finally lifts the heavy veil of your depression and anxiety enough for you to see that, hey, your daily grind really is intolerable, and you finally possess enough energy to push the red button and blow it the hell up. Obvious examples of the nuclear option include walking out on your spouse and kids, telling your abysmal boss to shove this pathetic job up his or her puckered old arse, dropping out, selling all your stuff, hitting the road in an RV, and quitting school and hitchhiking through the snow to the coast, etc. The life force is flowing again, baby, and it's time for a little scorched earth. Can the nuclear option work? Can going nuclear lead to a radical, sustainable upsurge in life force? I believe it can. Sometimes. I once knew a psychotherapist who extracted herself from a toxic marriage and later found a terrific guy. They lived happily ever after in his $18 million home in Woodside, California. We've all heard stories of Wall Street hedge fund managers who threw it all in to operate a boutique resort in Barbados or raise llamas in the Himalayas. Good shit can happen post-apocalypse. However, recall my postulation that the dominant theme of humanity is mayhem with the misfits. You want to be careful you aren't jumping out of the proverbial frying pan into the proverbial fire. To go nuclear, you can't be spontaneous, impetuous, or cavalier. You need to be strategic, organized, and patient. Let's consider a few examples. Say you're trapped in an abusive relationship. You've used our first 5 hacks to clear your mind enough to realize and fully admit your mate is a shitslinger of the worst kind. You're dependent on him financially, and you have 2 young kids. Your gut is now screaming that you have to cut him out of your daily grind, and you're ready to grab the kids and run. Or imagine you're starting to loathe your successful career as a social media influencer. You've been pulling in 25 to 50 grand a month in sponsorship fees as your followers multiply on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snap. However, you wake up every morning to a panic attack when you think of the grind of daily posts on all channels, the pressure of having your life on public display, and the thousands of shitty hate comments you get every day. With your leased Ferrari and posh penthouse on Wilshire Boulevard, not to mention your entourage of mooching friends, you're spending every penny you earn and maybe a bit more. Your daily grind is eating you alive, and you're about to shut it all down, stop posting, and let the shit hit the fan. Or maybe you're an outstanding straight-A student, athlete, and musician starting your senior year of high school. Your daily treadmill runs relentlessly from pre-dawn until after midnight. You're concealing your growing anxiety and depression as you prepare your 14 applications to top-tier universities. But the sad fact is, you hate your life, dread the future, and want to run away from home and get stoned into oblivion. Of course, none of the responses proposed above appear likely to improve these unhappy situations, do they? Impetuously blowing up the status quo causes more trauma ahead. The trick to winning with the nuclear option is to develop and implement a plan. Sure, your current situation might end with a big bang, but only after your escape path has been carefully laid out. At this point in the book, you've beaten back the beast, smacked back the shit-slingers to a standstill, dodged monkeys and controlled your folly, and entertained the idea of dumping, outsourcing, and reframing the unsavory elements of your daily grind. Your life force is on the rise. If your improved mental clarity insists your daily grind has to be blown up, you must devote your increased life force to planning and executing your transformation. In the famous words of Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, begin with the end in mind. Decide what you want your situation to be in, say, 2 or 3 years. Paint your ideal picture in as much detail as possible. Sketch out your first thoughts on everything that has to happen between now and then. List your resources and possible allies. Write down annual and monthly goals and ideas for achieving them. Be strategic. Be clever. Be sly. Be precise. The process should take you at least a few hours. Even if it takes a month, it's worth it. A word of caution. If you lack the energy and commitment to work through a strategy and plan, you have no hope of succeeding with the nuclear option. Hold off for now. One of 2 things will happen when you actually go through the headbanging of creating your nuclear strategic plan. Either you will decide implementing the plan requires way too much effort and you should focus instead on some incremental changes in your current daily grind, or you will say, "Yes, damn it, I can and will do this." Either way, your life force will be sustained. I generally don't advocate resorting to the nuclear option for a couple of reasons. First, the planetary theme of mayhem with the misfits conspires with the law of unintended consequences to make glorious dreams achingly hard to achieve. This observation flies in the face of upbeat instruction from famous athletes and entertainers who tell you to dream big and pursue your dreams at all costs. Such advice worked great for those standouts, obviously, but not so well for the countless others who risked everything and ended up broke and disillusioned in middle age. Take such guidance with a grain of salt. Second, as I postulated aggressively at the beginning of this book, the primary source of your depression and anxiety is the shit show in your head. Fix that, and most of the unpleasant machinations of your daily grind fade in importance. Returning to our 3 scenarios above, 2 probably call for merely modifying the daily grinds. Our social media influencer could spend less money, post less often, do more collabs, kick out the freeloaders, and block the stream of hate comments, while she investigates working behind the camera in the future. Our overachieving student could get a few B's, drop a few sports or music commitments, apply to fewer colleges, and free up some time for fun. Both of these individuals must continue to bitch-slap the beast and smack back with their shit-slingers, who surely will condemn these changes to their daily grinds. Only the abused mother of two needs to nuke her current situation, and she must do so with utmost cunning and caution. Running out the door with no forethought would prove fruitless at best. With help from external resources, such as the National Domestic Abuse Hotline or local services, she could develop and implement an escape plan that consumes weeks or months, yet provides a safe landing for her and the kids. In the interim, her life force would be sustained by the confidence that a viable path to secure freedom is opening to her and her children. Most likely, you will resort to the nuclear option only once or twice in your long life. The rest of the time, you can hack your daily grind by dumping, outsourcing, or reframing those maintenance tasks that tax your life force. Each small improvement gives you more energy to be the boss of you and demonstrate who you really want to be in this foam pit of our multidimensional universe. Fun time. Hacking your daily grind frees time for activities you might enjoy. The final step of Hack 6 is to carve out a little fun time every day. Recall the 15-second routine from Hack 4, Feeling Good-ish? Wake up in the morning and run the 3-finger TBI routine. Say thanks, bless someone, and now I want you to devote your 5-second intent to doing something fun that day. Start with at least one activity every day that brings you some enjoyment. On page 40 of your PDF workbook, list a few activities you intend to do more often. Over time, increase enjoyable activities until they comprise a hefty part of your day. At that point, you'll have successfully hacked your daily grind. Can I assume you're developing confidence and skills with the first 5 hacks? If so, Hack 6, the daily grind, will slip easily into your bag of tricks for increasing your life force and moving your emotional set point consistently closer to neutral. Give yourself a day or two to hack your daily grind. Then return for our final hack. Hack 7, Chief Body Officer, promises to upgrade your relationship with your body and further boost your life force.